I'd like to call the Special Board of Commissioners meeting to order Tuesday, March 17th at approximately 4:39. Roll call, please.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Begin.
Here.
Kunin.
Here.
Eric.
Here.
Ryder.
Here.
Lutz.
Here.
Chair Germancek.
Here.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation first.
Heavenly Father, we come before you this afternoon thanking you for the guidance and understanding that you have given this Board of Commissioners. Lord, we ask again today for your help and direction so this board may make the fair and proper decisions for all citizens of Bay County. In your holy name we ask this. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, the podium is open for anyone who has any public comment. Hearing none. Items for consideration. Referrals from the 3/10/20 board meeting. Hoppler drain agreement has been pulled. And next we have B, animal services building plans. Commissioner Coonan?
I'd like an explanation because we don't have an explanation on that. Run it by me again, what we're looking for here.
The request was for budget adjustment to allow us to hire an expert architect and engineer with expertise in animal shelters in order to give us sealed drawings and plans, including mechanical, I believe HVAC, and both the interior and the exterior drawings for what capital improvements would be recommended and needed at the animal shelter prior to going out for any request for a millage to the public, so we could get a better idea of how much money we would need to ask for if that proposal were placed on the ballot.
What was the cost?
I believe that the cost that we were requesting was $70,000. And that money would be paid for if a millage were placed on the ballot and approved, since that is an architectural drawing that would go toward the capital improvement of the building. It should be able to be repaid through millage funds.
Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if these plans at whatever, the $70,000, this amount will be deducted from the project costs as this company could, be our project manager. Is that correct?
If we utilized this company to move on to the next phase, then it would be included in he gave a two-phase project cost.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other discussion? Commissioner Ryder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two issues with it. First of all, we didn't have a competitive bid as far as this project goes, and even assuming that we accepted this proposal, then we've already said, okay, well, we can use the same engineering firm to oversee the project. So there's an issue there. Secondly, I'm completely in agreement with an operating millage, but when we get into building, there's just we have a millage coming on the ballot, or will have, for the care facility, which is people orientated. It's not that I don't have a love for animals. I have 3 dogs and 2 cats, so I certainly have that love for animals. But I wouldn't want to see us getting into a competitive millage thing on this issue, so I will be voting no.
Just a point of clarification, Commissioner, this would not be placed on this proposal would not be placed on the same ballot as the medical care facility proposal is being suggested. It's being suggested that the Bay Medical Care Facility proposal be placed on the August ballot and that the animal shelter proposal be placed on the November ballot.
Commissioner Ryder?
Yes, for the record, I'm well aware of that, but it's coming out of our residents' pocket, no matter what way you look at it. And I just don't think, especially in light of the virus today and everything else, I think funds are short for our residents, and I just don't think, it's not that I'm not for a millage, it's just that, is this the best time to do that? I really have very large concerns about that.
Thank you. Commissioner Krieger?
Not to belabor the discussion, but I'm on board with Commissioner Ryder. We're not sure what the future is going to be, and I certainly don't want to add additional expenses to the residents of Bay County. I mean, they're already stressed out enough, and yes, they're going to have the opportunity to vote on whether or not they have it, but I just don't feel that the timing is now. So I would not support this either.
Thank you. Commissioner Coonan?
I think before we have discussion, somebody's got to move it. I don't think anybody moved it yet.
Correct. Commissioner Lutz?
Mr. Chairman, I will move the resolution.
I don't hear a second, therefore it drops. Next on the agenda, unfinished business. Under new business, see if I can get all this straight now. Resolution number, I'm going to call it the first one, number 1, is the Treasurer's Office request for dropping the credit card fees to help out these, so that the people don't have to come into the building and they have a way of making payments.
So moved.
Support.
We have motion and support. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Next one, number 2, Bay County Commissioners holding meetings at the community center.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Number 3, board meetings via telecommunication.
So moved.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Number 4 has to deal with the stabilization fund to be used at the administration's discretion, $150,000 from the stabilization fund.
So moved.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Next one, number 5, declaring a state of emergency. County Executive Jim Barsha, state of emergency, good for 7 days. The board will extend that to our next board meeting past his 7 days to April the 14th.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Number 6 is was brought up during the personnel, the Hepatitis A resolution. This is to help the health department administer the program a little sooner rather than waiting another month.
So moved.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Same sign. Motion is carried. Next one is number 7. Comes from 911 to post and fill the 2 vacancies that they have.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Next one up, Bay Medical Care request. I'm going to ask our Corporation Counsel to I want to make sure this gets worded right, ma'am.
For is a motion to refer this to the next full board meeting for a public hearing to consider a request from the Bay Medical Care Facility to place a ballot proposal requesting 1 mil over a 9-year period on the August ballot, as well as consideration by the board with regard to a request for an advance from the Bay Medical Care Facility from the Budget Stabilization Fund.
Support.
We have motion and support. Commissioner Coonan?
Amber, did I hear you say that it's going to go on next month's meeting?
It would go on next month's full board meeting. We're required anytime they're requesting a ballot initiative to provide 10 days notice to the public before a public hearing, so the board can open it up for public hearing and also do its own internal deliberations at that point in time, and you can vote at that point in time whether or not you wish to move forward after the public hearing.
Okay. Are there presently 2 millages there, a capital and an operations as well, right now?
There's currently 1 millage that is in existence. That millage is both for capital improvements, operations, and maintenance, and the proposed millage that would be placed on the ballot would be for the same 3 purposes.
Okay, so is it an extension?
It is not an extension. The 2 measures would both be in existence. However, they would expire at different times. I believe the prior millage proposal that is already being collected expires in 2 more years. This one would extend from this year until the end of 2029 inclusive.
So there would be 2 millages at once for 2 years?
2 years, yes.
And then what was the question I was going to ask? It says in here about if the millage is passed, then they would get an advance from the general fund. Well, what happens if the millage isn't passed?
It is my understanding, in speaking with the number of commissioners that I have, as well as the board's financial officer, that if in fact the millage isn't passed, the amount of an advance being requested by the Bay Medical Care Facility would be declined, and we would have to, at that point in time, reevaluate what the board was willing to do with regard to any type of advance, be it a smaller advance or over a different time period or no advance at all.
And, yeah, okay. I guess we're just going to move it to the next meeting and ask some questions there then.
Just to clarify that, the advance only is considered after the millage is passed.
The advanced would be contingent upon passage of the millage because basically the advanced funds would be collateralized by those taxes that would be levied.
All right, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
So we're looking, Commissioner?
Just one clarification before next meeting. Don't we have a resolution that we have our millage votes in November? It seemed like we had that a while ago. So we'd have to waive that or override that if we decide to do it in August. I guess I need clarification. I'm pretty sure we have that on the books, that we hold the millage elections in November. Just ask for clarification before the next meeting.
Pursuant to Board of Commissioners Resolution 2014-32, you did in fact state that any ballot initiative would have to be placed on the November ballot. If they were requesting a tax levy, the board would have to move to temporarily suspend Resolution 214-32 in order to place this on the August ballot. That would be a separate motion that the board would have to take at the next full board meeting.
Thank you.
So we're looking for, you heard the language, we're looking for a motion of support.
Support.
And who is the support?
Mike Lentz.
We have a motion and support. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. I believe that is everything. Do you have anything else?
Yes, I think that maybe there is some confusion on my part with regard to Resolution number 5, the board chair referenced extending Mr. Barsha's state of emergency for 14 days. That was actually contained in the same resolution whereby Mr. Barsha requested the $150,000. There was a separate resolution that was brought forth by the personnel director asking for the board's concurrence in declaring a civil emergency for purposes of suspending the collective bargaining agreements of Bay County employees.
So that will be a separate,
That would be separate.
okay. Commissioner Ryder?
Mr. Chairman, the 5th resolution that I read on the emergency, the declaration of the state local emergency, it was also in that resolution that it said, will enact the provisions contained within the collective bargaining agreements that allows a temporary suspension of the agreements provided that the wage and monetary fringe benefits shall not be suspended.
I understand, Commissioner. I think that there was just a bit of confusion because referenced in that motion was language about extending Mr. Barsha's state of emergency, and these are two different things. His state of emergency is good for 7 days, and he was requesting it be extended to April 14th. And there was a statement when that vote was made regarding extending his local state of emergency until April 14th. And I think that's where it's leading to some confusion. The state of civil emergency with regard to the CBAs was separate and didn't require any extension. And I just want to make sure that the record is clear that we're voting on two separate things, that collective bargaining agreement state of emergency does not require any extension. It's open-ended.
Any other questions? I'm looking for a motion, correct, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Support. We have motion and support. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. And we're going to put that as from the personnel director, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I believe I have everything covered. I don't know what we'd do without you ladies, both all of you. So thank you very much. It was a little chaotic day. Appreciate everybody in the audience. Let's see, miscellaneous. Hearing none. Announcements. Closed session, ma'am. One required?
No, sir.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn is always in order. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you all.